this is problem number 12. We've got a 10-year loan of $2,000 that is being repaid at the end of each year, end of year payments. And there are two different ways we can repay that loan. We can make some unknown payment 10 times at 8.07%. Or we can do what's on this timeline here, which I'm going to walk through in just a moment. And then the sum of the two payments is going to be the same. So if we take all the payments from method 1 and all the payments from method 2 and add them together, we're going to end up paying the exact same amount. And these are just a couple of reminders here of our present value of annuity and our present value factor here. So let's look at the second payment method here. It says installments of $200 each year plus the interest on the unpaid balance at some annual effective interest rate I, which is what we're trying to find. So annual or installments of $200 each year plus the interest on the unpaid balance. So at the beginning we have a $2,000 balance, and at the end of the first year, when we make our first payment, we have earned interest on that $2,000 balance. But then we pay down $200 worth of principal, so at the end of the second year, there's only $1,800 left to earn interest, and then because we make another $200 payment at the end of the third year, there's only $1,600, and on till we get to the last payment here. The sum of all of these payments is going to be equal to the sum of these payments over here. So our first step is going to be to find this payment value here for method 1. And that's a pretty straightforward process. We have our present value of a 10-year annuity at the given interest rate times the payment is going to be equal to the value of the loan. And then we just solve. We get a numerical value here. We divide both sides by that value, and we get the amount of our payment. And you would use these two formulas here. That ought to be second nature for you at this point. Certainly if you want to succeed on exam FM, it should be second nature. You shouldn't have to think about those two at all. When you think present value of an annuity or present value factor, there's just no hesitation. You know what to do, whether you use your financial calculator or your TI-30. You should get a value close to this for the annuity, which means that the value of our payments is about $299. But we're going to make 10 of those payments. So multiply this by 10 to get the sum of all the payments from method 1. And that's going to be equal to the sum of all the payments from method 2. And before I go writing each of these down, let's just kind of think it through. These $200 payments on the principal are going to end up summing to the total principal. So we have $2,000 off the bat. And then the real question is, how many of these I's do we have? We have 2,000I plus 1,800I plus 1,600I, etc. So I think it's best to think of it in terms of chunks instead of just plugging it into your calculator, right? You have 1,800 and 200. That's one chunk of 2,000. 1,600 and 400. That's another chunk of 2,000. You have 1,400 and 600. That's another chunk of 2,000. You have 12 and 8. That's another chunk. You have the 2,000 from the beginning. And then you have that 1,000 right there in the middle. So that's going to be 1,100, or 11,000. 11,000 I's. And then just do the division, or do the subtraction and then division and solve, right? So you subtract 2,000 from both sides. You have 990. Divide both sides by 1,100, by 11,000, and you get that I is 9%. Final answer,